Now to the latest on the ransomware attack on Nevada agencies. Governor Joe Lombardo, in his first news conference on the cyber attack, says his team is working diligently to get things back up and running. Today he shared an update on the investigation, and he says the cyber criminals took data from the state system, but he doesn't know if personal information was compromised. Governor Lombardo says the system is not under attack at this point. The incident happened on Sunday. Lombardo says state agencies quickly worked together to identify which services had to be prioritized when it came to restoring operations.
You can imagine the state has a lot of moving parts and a lot of different departments that are responsible to the constituents of the state, along with the safety of the constituents of the state. So our team came together and we determined what was front-facing and what was critical to ensure that safety and response to people's needs. And we triaged those particular items.
So Governor Lombardo says the team is evaluating the system and how to move forward. But one of the questions that people have been asking is, where has Governor Joe Lombardo been during this cyber incident, including why he didn't attend the news conference yesterday in Carson City, the first in-person informational event. He addressed that today.
I traveled to Elko, Eureka, and Ely for pre-planned events in order to meet with local government officials and constituents to discuss emergency management and economic issues. I understand my presence was noticed in yesterday's press conference, and I appreciate the notice. But as you work through the crisis model, the crisis phasing, I participate in the mitigation and preparedness to prepare for a crisis, and that is my role as your governor.
Nevada Democrats claim at least one of those events may have been a campaign fundraising stop. News 3's Tiffany Lane is live in Henderson, where there is a protest happening right now, speaking out against the governor's absence yesterday. Tiffany, what have you learned?
LaToya and Steve, so essentially there's a protest happening right now in Henderson outside of the gate for a country club. Now, according to the Henderson Chamber of Commerce's website, they're telling me it shows that Governor Lombardo is at an event here tonight, and that's why they're here to get his attention. They're saying, why wasn't the governor at the cyber attack press conference yesterday? Take a listen.
He should have been there. It's his priority as the governor of the state of Nevada. This isn't the biggest state in terms of population. You would think that he has enough of his own time to give to everybody. So I believe his excuses were poor. He should always have that in front of mind, right? Always be out front helping the people of Nevada, and he's failed to do that time and time again.
Now, the Nevada Dems on X last night posted something. Let me read you that for the quote. He's on the campaign trail instead of dealing with a cyber attack that stole state data and crippled entire government agencies, end quote. Now, today, the governor assured that he has been involved since the incident happened and is accessible to his team at all times.
Providing the resources and the garnering of partnerships to respond to the crisis. And eventually we move into the recovery piece of a crisis, and that is more of a technical response provided by my directors and the experts in the recovery that is necessary in response to any crisis. And subsequently, I felt comfortable in being absent in yesterday's press conference. Yesterday's press conference.
And while Governor Lombardo discussed his absence yesterday, I asked him about the timeline since we learned about that cyber attack on Sunday.
Some are saying not only was it yesterday, but this incident happened on Sunday morning and they didn't hear from you on Monday or Tuesday either. Would you be able to
comment? Because we were walking through the process, we don't know what was affected in the early infancy of this. And as we respond and mitigate and continue to evaluate, I couldn't give you answers in that response. The only thing we were aware of, there was an intrusion. And that intrusion, we were notified because of our endemic systems and ability to produce red flags when there is a obvious intrusion into the system. Well, listen, this press conference is not intended to address my absence. I'm here, I'm taking care of business, and it never swayed from my responsibility as your governor.
And Latoya, of course, this is an ongoing investigation. A lot of questions that people still have. For what we do know so far, we have that on our website, news3lv.com, but we will provide more updates as they become available. Reporting live from Henderson, I'm Tiffany Lane for News 3. Latoya.
All right, Tiffany, thank you so much for the latest on this issue that a lot of people are asking us about. Now, earlier